Hello friends, welcome to Affairs Cloud. We learn to lead. My name is Vikas.
So friends, in this video we will be discussing about some of the important current affairs of the topic international affairs of the July month. This video will be very helpful to you, so do watch the video till the end, hit the like button and share the link of this video with your friends. So friends, we'll start with our session, but before that we have something important to tell you about.
We have an app by the name Carriers Cloud which you can go and download through the Play Store. Once you have downloaded the app, you will open the app and you will see this type of screen. In this, you can go and log in with your Google account, that is your Gmail ID. Then once you have logged in, then you will be moved to this page where you can see a window. If you click on the current affairs section here, then you will be moved to this page. Now this is where magic happens. This is the course where there are two courses provided by us. First, you should know it is of 1 year and 2 years, so choose your course accordingly. What we are providing and what is the reason behind that you should purchase course of current affairs from us, and what are the important details about it. First thing, you should know that we provide you current affairs in both English and Hindi. Okay, also we provide you here current affairs daily. PDFs are provided daily. The important factor here to remember is we are providing PDF to you daily. Okay, that contains question answers of the daily current affairs. They are explained in a much easy way where you can grasp the knowledge and do your revision. Okay, apart from app, we provide you with question answers. Then on every day we provide you 20 question answers quiz, daily 20 questions quiz. So imagine how much it will benefit you in your preparation. Then we provide you same thing for weekly. In weekly we take a quiz of 50 questions. Then question answers of week, we provide you a book, PDF is provided you weekly of the compiled questions of the whole week. Similarly for monthly also, ebook is given, your quizzes are taken, question answers PDF. Then apart from it, we also help you to prepare for banking papers. All the banking exams you can go refer to our videos and our courses here. You can see here the we provide you banking and economic quiz of 157 questions. Okay, then topic wise PDFs are covered. As you can see, we are making videos on indexes and reports, important days, the books and authors, all the events that are taking place in individual months. So these PDFs are provided to you and they will help you a lot in your preparation for journal awareness, your journal studies, as well as for current affairs. Then you can see we also provide you current affairs for state wise current affairs are provided to you. Apart from this, I have a gift for all of my friends here. If you use my code Vikas10, you will be getting a straight 10% discount on the purchase you make. So when you are about to check out and do the payment, just before the payment, you will be getting an option to use the promo code. There you can put the Vikas10, the code, and you will be getting an extra 10% discount on the total purchase you make there. So let's start with our video.
So friends, let's start. First, we'll be talking about something related to COVID-19 pandemic. World Health, that is your IP trade bodies, launch a platform to tackle COVID-19 pandemic. Which are the IP bodies and all this? You have to remember three organizations: WHO, WIPO, and your WTO. The head of these three organizations have came together and started a platform for the basically to tackle COVID-19. All right, so what is this and what are the important questions that will be framed from this is: first, the three organization WHO, WIPO and WTO. What is WHO? World Health Organization. WIPO is your World Intellectual Property Organization, and your World Trade Organization came together and they have started a platform to tackle COVID-19. Then, who is the Director General of WHO? Tedros Ghebreyesus. Of WIPO, Darren Tang. And of WTO, she is Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. And she is the first women director of this WTO. She is from where? She is from Nigeria. All right, moving on. This platform will help countries plug the gaps in accessing COVID-19 vaccines, treatments, and technologies. Full range of expertise on access, intellectual property, and trade matters will be available on this platform. If we talk about WHO, it was established in 1948. Headquarters Geneva, Switzerland. There are 194 members in WHO. WTO 1995 it was established. Headquarters Geneva, Switzerland. 164 members. WIPO 1967 was the establishment date. Headquarters is also in Geneva, Switzerland. So these all WHO, WTO, and WIPO, they have their headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland. Moving on. Next is your Bangalore among top 5 office centers in APAC for the tech firm. What is this? This is your Asia Pacific. Alright, in the Asia Pacific region, Bangalore was among the top 5 office centers, or the top 5 location for the best office centers in the Asia Pacific region for the tech firms was your Bangalore. If we look at the data, in accordance with the reports by the Coilers titled Growth Engines of Innovation, How Asia Pacific's Technology Hubs Are Reshaping Regional Real Estate. So this is the report released by Coilers. In that, the outer ring road of Bangalore, Karnataka has ranked 6th in the top 10 established technology submarkets in the Asia Pacific region for the companies to set up their operations. Hyderabad Information Technology and Engineering Consultancy in the city of Hyderabad, Telangana ranked 10th in this list. This list was topped by Beijing, China. Alright, what was this list? The list for the top 10 or the top list of the top 10 cities for the companies to set up their office, and basically there are the IT firms or your IT companies, that's your information and technology. What do these cities offer? They offer a balance of infrastructure and talent for occupiers, full growth, investment opportunities for owners. All right, that means there are job opportunities also, business opportunities, employment is also there. All right, Next, we'll be talking about global economy could lose over $4 trillion due to COVID-19 impact on tourism. So if we are talking about tourism, who releases the report on this tourism? You need to remember UNCTAD first thing. What is UNCTAD? It is your United Nations Conference of Trade and Development. This is your UNCTAD. It releases a report in which recently it told that due to coronavirus, the global economy or particularly the tourism sector could be hit worst, and it can cost up to $4 trillion. All right, if we look at the data, as per the joint research report released by United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, that is your UNCTAD, and the United Nations Tourism Organization, that is United Nations World Tourism Organization, they released a report together and it was named as COVID-19 and Tourism and Update. They together released this report. So question can be asked, a joint report on tourism was released by two organizations named COVID-19 and Tourism and Update. Which are the two organizations? UNCTAD and UNWTO. Then India has experienced 54% drop in the tourist arrivals in 2020 due to COVID-19. The report has estimated a loss of $4 trillion in terms of global GDP, that is your gross domestic product, for 2020 and 2021 due to the downfall of international tourism due to COVID-19. Basically, you can say due to lockdown, people are not able to travel from one country to another, and that basically in nowadays, like you can see, Dubai is the most of the revenues, the most percentage of its revenue of Dubai came from tourism, and now the tourism has shut down. So that means their prices in that country will be increasing and the earnings are less as compared to it was earlier before COVID-19. A loss of $2.4 trillion is estimated for international tourism and linked sectors due to sharp drop in the international tourist arrivals. Next is WHO, that is your World Health Organization, has awarded China a malaria-free certificate. That means China has become now malaria-free. There is no malaria in China. Who gave this malaria-free certificate to China? It was given by WHO. That is your World Health Organization. All right. China reported 0 cases for the last 4 years. In 1940, the country reported 30 million cases of this disease annually. All right. Important one. Do remember it. Next. OECD FAO. What is this OECD first of all, and what is this FAO? OECD is your Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and FAO is your Food and Agriculture Organization. They together released an agriculture outlook report for the year 2021 to 2030. That means they predicted some data. Let's look at it. First, the question from this can be, Agriculture Outlook report was recently released by which organization? It was released by OECD and your FAO. If we look at the data, OECD, that is your Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and your FAO is your Food and Agriculture Organization. They together released a report, Agriculture Outlook 2021 to 2030. And it stated that the prices of food commodities are set to become cheaper in this decade, and the global targets on reducing hunger and CO2 emissions are unlikely to be met under current policies. The OECD FAO Agriculture Outlook is an annual report which serves as a consensus assessment of the 10-year prospects for the agriculture, commodity, and fish markets at national, regional, and global levels. The report serves as a reference for forward-looking policy analysis and planning. If we talk about food commodities may become cheap due to increase in productivity. Chinese demand will remain in a driver of global agriculture markets, particularly for meat, fish, and feed grains. If we talk about overall greenhouse gas emissions, the report forecasts an 4% increase in overall greenhouse gas emissions from agriculture during 21 to 2030, with livestock accounting for 80% of the increase. All right. So basic important thing you need to remember is that the food prices of the food commodities will become cheaper in the coming decade. Next. Next is International Climate Summit. Who will host this International Climate Summit? It will be hosted by India. Important. International Climate Summit 2021 will be hosted by India. Only important question from this topic. All right, that you need to remember. Then, if we focus on another, what will be the important agenda, or will be basically you can say the theme for the International Climate Summit that will be hosted by India? It will be green hydrogen. We have discussed this. Green hydrogen is the fuel of future, because it is when green hydrogen, or when hydrogen is burned, that means on burning of hydrogen, no carbon footprint is left, means no carbon is released, which means no pollution will be released in your environment, and it is environment friendly green hydrogen. All right. So green hydrogen will be the agenda of this International Climate Summit. The event was organized in partnership with the government of Norway, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the delegates. The summit is being organized jointly by Niti Aayog, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Department of Scientific and Industrial Research (CSIR), and the Department of Science and Technology. It includes India-centric discussions with the special focus on powering India's hydrogen ecosystem. Innovative ideas on storing and transportation of liquefied hydrogen are the key agenda of this summit. All right. So coming back, two questions. Who will be hosting International Climate Summit? India. What will be the agenda? Green hydrogen. All right. The use of green hydrogen. Next, world's tallest sand castle will be built in Denmark. Only question you need to remember. Where will be the world's tallest sand castle built? It was built in Denmark. Next, INS Tabar has jointly conducted a navy exercise in the Tarian Sea with which country? With Italy, or Italian Navy. That means Indian Navy and your Italian Navy together jointly conducted a navy exercise or a naval exercise in the Tarian Sea. Important. All right. Then from Indian part, or from Indian Navy, which navy ship took part in this exercise? It was your Indian naval ship Tabar participated in the maritime exercise with the ITS Antonio Marcel. This is the ship of Italy. All right. This is for Italy, and this INS Tabar is of India. Then they conducted a wide range of naval operations like air defense procedures, replenishment at sea, communication drills, cross deck hello operations by day and night. Then INS Tabar is currently deployed in the Mediterranean Sea, visited Italy's port of Naples on 3rd of July. Coming back, another thing you need to remember is your Indian Army Memorial. Where is this Indian Army Memorial and who inaugurated this Indian Army Memorial? Then this Indian Army Memorial is in Italy. It was inaugurated by Chief of Army Staff General Manoj Mukund Narwane, sir. Alright, so who inaugurated it? It was inaugurated by Chief of Army Staff, and who is he? He is General Manoj Mukund Narwane. Inaugurated Indian Army Memorial. Very important detail you need to remember. And where is this Indian Army Memorial? It is in Italy. If we talk about Indian Navy, we saw Chief of Army Staff is Manoj Mukund Narwane, and who is the Chief of Naval Staff? He is Admiral Karambir Singh. So two question: who is Chief of Army Staff? He is General Manoj Mukund Narwane. And if we are talking about Chief of Naval Staff, he is Admiral Karambir Singh. Alright, moving on. Next, we'll be talking about BRICS. First of all, tell me the full form of BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Alright, member countries have agreed of BRICS for a STI-led BRICS Innovation Cooperation Action Plan for the 2021 to 2024 that was proposed by India. This is the reason this is in news. Alright, this SIT-led BRICS Innovation Cooperation Action Plan was proposed by India during this BRICS summit, and this was approved by the BRICS members. What it is, let's look at it. During the 12th meeting of the BRICS, S&T is your Science and Technology Steering Committee was hosted by Department of Science and Technology, India, where Indian representative Sanjeev Kumar Varshne, who is the advisor and head international corporation. It was attended by scientific ministers, agencies of all BRICS countries. During the meeting of BRICS members countries have agreed to a science, technology and innovation, that is your STI led BRICS Innovation Cooperation Action Plan for the year 2021 to 2024 that was proposed by whom? It was proposed by India. Alright, remember STI is your science, technology and innovation. Then, if we look at the key details, the details of the action plan will be worked out by the BRICS STI Entrepreneurship Partnership Working Group. The BRICS officials agreed for collaboration in 10 thematic areas. All BRICS countries also agreed to 3 thematic areas proposed by India for the 6th edition of BRICS Young Scientist Conclave, which will be held in Bangalore this year between 13th to 16th of September in the 2021. Then if we look at these BRICS 10 thematic areas, what are these thematic areas? They are such as health, care, energy solutions, cyber physical systems and their applications. Alright, these are just an example. Coming back, BRICS recently an STI-led BRICS Innovation Cooperation Plan for the year 21 to 24 was approved by BRIC members. Who proposed it? It was proposed by India. Next we'll be talking about a high-level advisory group for the COVID-19 vaccine has been developed. By whom? It has been developed by ADB. ADB is your Asian Development Bank. Alright. Where is the headquarter of Asian Development Bank? It is in Philippines, Manila. The Asian Development Bank has partnered with the public health experts, vaccine regulators and policymakers to form a high-level advisory group, that is your regional vaccine advisory group, to support the developing member countries with technical and scientific advisory on the quality, safety and effectiveness of the COVID-19 vaccines. The inaugural meeting of the advisory group that was held on 1st of July 2021 focused on the ways to increase the supply of COVID-19 vaccine across Asia and the Pacific region. What was the objective of this vaccine advisory group? It was to support the Asian Development Bank, and DMCs are your developing member countries, and provide a better understanding of regulatory oversight, risk management strategies and pharmacovigilance required to safely introduce and monitor the COVID-19 vaccines, as because these vaccines are new and we don't know how much they are effective, and we also want the large population to get vaccinated as soon as possible to end this COVID-19. So to regulate this and to provide the awareness to all the people as well as the doctors, that is the reason this advisory group was made. What is the role of the advisory group? It will assist to safely introduce COVID-19 vaccines across Asia and the Pacific, and will help to reduce poverty by allowing the people to resume their life and develop their economy. As people will be vaccinated, then they can easily go to work, avoiding the restrictions, because nowadays if you want to travel from even one country to another country, you need to have at least one dose of vaccine. The advisory group will provide recommendation to support ADB to find ways to connect the global and local supply chains and solve the vaccine supply issues faced in the Asia and the Pacific region. All right, so it was this high level advisory group for COVID-19 vaccines were developed by whom or established by ADB, that is your Asian Development Bank. Next, Oxfam, 11 people die of hunger each minute around the globe, report titled The Hunger Virus Multiplies. This report, The Hunger Virus Multiplies, was released by Oxfam. Alright. This report states that each minute 11 people die just because of hunger. Alright. And let's look at the data. Each minute 11 people die because of the hunger, and this is six-fold increase compared to the last year in the number of people threatened over famine-like conditions, as per the report titled The Hunger Virus Multiplies, released by global anti-poverty organization, that is your Oxfam. The report also states that the global death toll of 11 per minute from famine outspaces that of COVID-19, that is of 7 deaths per minute. Let's look at some of the findings of this report. With an addition of 20 million people, the total count of the people at the crisis level of food insecurity has increased to 155 million. War-torn countries like Afghanistan, Ethiopia, South Sudan, Syria, Yemen are the worst hunger hotspots. Global warming and economic recession caused a 40% increase in the global food prices, moving millions of people into poverty. If we talk about Oxfam, it was founded in 1942. Executive Director is Gabriela Butcher, and this headquarters is in Nairobi, Kenya. Alright, so who released the report that stated 11 people die of hunger each minute? It was released by Oxfam, and the name of the report was The Hunger Multiplies. Next is your IATA has launched a global action group to improve handling of mobility aids. What are these, and let's look at it. The International Air Transport Association launched the first of its kind global mobility aids action group to tackle the issues around safe and secure transport of mobility aids such as crutches, walkers, wheelchairs, with an objective of handling the vital equipment for travelers with disabilities. The action group will provide advice and recommendation to airlines and other stakeholders on policies, processes, standards for better handling and transportation of these mobility aids. It will consist of a full range of stakeholders impacted by the issue: accessibility organizations, airlines, ground service providers, airports, and mobility aid manufacturers. Next we'll be talking about Post 2020 Global Biodiversity Framework. Implementation needs more resources. What is this? And let's look at it. The fifth and the final session of the third Asian is your Association of Southeast Asian Nations Conference on Biodiversity in 2020, held in July 2021, focused on the theme Towards 2050 Living in Harmony with the Nature. What is the theme of the third Asian Conference on Biodiversity? It is Towards 2050 Living in Harmony with Nature. What were the key points that were discussed here? The ACB represented a milestone for member states of the ASEAN to implement the post 2020 Global Biodiversity Framework. At the session, the Asian members mentioned the need for resources, financial support, and the technology transfer for the developing countries to implement the post 2020 GBF. The fifth session of the third ACB 2020 was organized by the Government of Malaysia and its Ministry of Engineering and Natural Resources with the Asian Center for Biodiversity. Next, next we'll be talking about Ministry of Electronics and IT, that is your Information and Technology, has partnered with T-Hub. All right. I repeat, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, that is your IT, has partnered with T-Hub. What it is and why they have partnered, let's look at it. T-Hub has announced their partnership with the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology along with the Digital India to lead the scale up of program of Digital India for the hardware and IoT, that is your Internet of Things startups, and to support the startups with the investment and the market access. What is this IoT? IoT is your the devices that can be controlled using your remotely, all right, or using your mobile phones. The program under the partnership will start in July 2020, and around 10 to 15 leading startups with the cutting edge solution in the sector like mobility. This is 2021. All right, mobility, energy, agriculture, aerospace, manufacturing, consumer, health tech, med tech, smart cities, and logistics and supply chain will be shortly shortlisted from the applicants through a screening process. What will be the services and the benefits of this? The selected startups will go through the boot camps and mentoring organized by the T Hub. The startups will be supported to develop their hardware designs and performances. The program provides mentorship in areas like pricing to go to market strategies, fundraising, and others. Equity free grants will be provided to the startups as a part of this program. So, if anyone is interested in startups and they are into in the information and technology, that they are into coding or IoT electronics department, so they can go and look up and search for this more. Next we'll be talking about Commonwealth countries. They are about to lose a $345 billion in 2020. What's this all about? Let's look at it. According to a recent Commonwealth Trade Review for the year 2021 on energizing Commonwealth trade in a digital world, paths to recovery post COVID-19, released by the Commonwealth Association, due to COVID-19, Commonwealth countries lost trade of worth $345 billion in 2020, including the $60 billion in intra-Commonwealth trade. All right. If we talk about these Commonwealth countries compared to pre-pandemic growth trends, Commonwealth countries contracted by 10%. The countries experienced decline in overall foreign direct investment inflows in 2020 with the loss of $153 to the Commonwealth. Developing Commonwealth countries faced higher losses. Exports have contracted by 10.1%. All right. Then moving on. Next, we'll be talking about European Union proposes world's first carbon border tax. What it is? European Commission, that is your EC, the executive branch of the European Union, has proposed a plan to impose world's first carbon border tax from 2026 on imports of the carbon intensive goods, including steel, cement, fertilizers, and aluminium, as a part of a program to meet its new climate target, reducing emissions by 55% from 1990 levels by 2030. All right. So, if a country from for importing the carbon intensive goods such as steel, cement, and fertilizers, this carbon tax or carbon border tax will be implemented from which year? It will be implemented from 2026. It aims to protect European industries from competitors abroad not subject to the same carbon levies. This is levels. During the transitional phase from 2023 to 2025, importers will monitor and report their emissions, and then this tax will be imposed as per the need. The proposal mandates importers to buy digital certificates representing the tonnage of carbon dioxide emissions embedded in the import goods. The importers will be able to claim a reduction in carbon border costs if the goods have been subject to the carbon levy in their country of manufacture. At present, around 64 carbon pricing instruments like emission trading schemes or taxes are in use around the world, including in China and US, but it covers only 21% of the global greenhouse gas emissions. If we talk about European Union, President is Ursula von der Leyen and the headquarters is in Brussels, Belgium. Next we'll be talking about Africa, and important, this is important. Africa has become the first continent to complete collection of the digital land use data. Question will be direct. Which continent became the first to complete the digital land use data? It is your Africa. Under the Africa Open Deal Initiative, a complete collection of accurate comprehensive digital land use data was collected across African continent, making Africa the first continent in the world to have complete digital land use data. Just remember this information. All right, nothing else. Then come to FAO, that is your Food and Agriculture Organization. Director General is Q Dongyu. Headquarter is in Rome, Italy, and motto is Fiat Penis, that is let there be bread. Next we'll be talking about a new Quad group for the Afghan peace. Important. What are the Quad countries earlier? First tell me. They are India, USA, Australia, and Japan. These are the 4 Quad countries. But now there is a new Quad group for the Afghan peace, and they are USA. Come on, tell me what are the 4 Quad groups that are helping now Afghan for the peace? Pakistan. No, let me write it as a flag wise. USA. This is your USA. Afghanistan. Then it is Uzbekistan, and this is your China's flag. Oh, Pakistan's flag. All right, this is your Pakistan's flag. So these are the 4 countries that have came together and formed a Quad group for the Afghan peace. If we look at the data, in accordance with the United States Department notification that the US, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Uzbekistan are all set to create a new quadrilateral diplomatic group to promote the Afghan peace process, stability, and trade in the region. All right. The formation of this Quad group is on the lines of deteriorating security situations in Afghanistan, as Taliban claimed control of 85% of Afghanistan after withdrawal of the US military forces from the country. All right. Next important thing to remember here is the 4 countries. They are US, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, and Pakistan. Next we'll be talking about a report by ECOSOC. ECOSOC is your Economic and Social Department of United Nations, and they have stated that due to COVID-19, around 120 million people are now into extreme poverty. All right, let's look at it. The High Level Political Forum, that is HLPF, on Sustainable Development Goals conducted the review meeting on the 2030 agenda for attaining the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. The meeting was hosted by United Nations Economic and Social Council, that is your ECOSOC. During the review meeting, ECOSOC mentioned that the COVID-19 crisis has pushed around 119 to 124 million people into extreme poverty. Countries across the world shall enact gender-responsive policies to build back a better future and refocus on attaining sustainable development goals by 2030. If we talk about ECOSOC, it was established in 1945, headquarters was in New York, USA, and president is Munir Akram. All right, next we'll be talking about world's largest floating solar panel farm has unveiled, and it is in Singapore. Important. Singapore implemented one of the world's largest floating solar panel farms, spanning an area equivalent to 45 hectares and producing electricity to power the island's 5 water treatment plants. The project would generate electricity from 122,000 solar panels on the site. The project aims to multiply its solar energy production by 4 times by 2025 to tackle the climate change. Floating solar farms will perform between 5% to 15% better than the land solar farms because the cooling effect of the water. Next is your Qatar Airways became the first airlines from Middle East to join the IATA's Turbulence Award platform. What is IATA? IATA is your International Air Transport Association. So which airways or which country's airways recently joined the Turbulence Aware platform? It was joined by Qatar of IATA, that is your International Air Transport Association, a data resource to help airlines avoid turbulence. It became the first airlines from the Middle East to join IATA Turbulence Aware platform, which was launched in 2018. All right, next we'll be talking about clean energy. Global emissions to hit record high as government spends on clean energy. Marginal IEA. What is your IEA? It is your International Energy Association. Accordance with the Sustainable Recovery Tracker by the International Energy Agency, the global greenhouse gas emissions will raise to record levels by 2023 as governments are providing fiscal support of $16 trillion to stabilize their economies affected by the coronavirus pandemic. But only about 2%, that is to $380 billion of the spending has been allocated to clean energy measures. Both public and private funds towards clean energy measures are well below the level to attain the international climate goals. If we look at the key points, it has triggered a warning that the emission should be cut to half in this decade in order to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius. As per the current recovery spending plans, global carbon dioxide emissions will continue rising even beyond 2023. This will not lead to achieve the net zero emissions by 2050 that the IEA set out its global roadmap to net zero or for carbon free or carbon neutral earth. Moving on. Next, we'll be talking about the world's first 3D printed steel bridge that was opened to public in Amsterdam. Where was this world's first 3D printed steel bridge made? It was in Amsterdam. Important question. Just remember the location. That's it. Next. Next, we will be talking about a virtual summit that agreed to strengthen the bilateral cooperation on digitizations and startups. Remember, India and Sweden has joined the ISA framework, or you can say Sweden has joined the ISA framework to strengthen bilateral cooperations on digitization and startups also. All right. Important thing is this also because it also became a part of ISA, that is your International Solar Alliance. And where is this ISA? This is in Gurgaon, Haryana. And where is Gurgaon, Haryana? It is in India. All right. Then this was one thing. Next is your that there was a virtual summit that agreed to strengthen bilateral cooperations on digitization and startups. Basically, now almost all meetings are basically to either for the climate change or for your technologies updation. All right. Then, if we look at the major events during the summit, both countries agreed to strengthen cooperation in the areas such as elderly care, infection control, digitization, non communicable disease, and startups. They also welcomed the creation of Sweden India Health Hub at AIMS Jodhpur, Rajasthan. Next, next we'll be talking about Philippines. Important question. In Philippines became the first country to approve the GM, that is your genetically modified golden rice to commercial production. Important. Which country became the first country to provide or to approve the genetically modified golden rice for their commercial production? It is your Philippines. Important. Direct remember this. All right. And these genetically modified golden rice are rich in vitamin A. Important thing also. All right. So friends, this was our video. I hope you enjoyed our video. If you liked our video, do hit the like button, share the link with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel or if you are new to our channel, then do subscribe because it motivates us to bring a better content for you guys. Also, if you have any trouble regarding login or payment or any other issues, then you can reach to us on our mail, that is support at the rate of affairscloud.com, or you can call us on the number 9677333862 and we'll resolve your issue as soon as possible. Also, you should go and check our courses that are available at a very reasonable price and that will help you to boost your preparation.